Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ronald here. So, this video is going to focus on the Phala Phala ConCourt judgment that is being read out at 10 a.m. on the 8th of May at the Constitutional Court. So, if you are watching this on Friday, the 8th of May, and it's not 10 o'clock yet, you can tune into my live stream and you can watch it with me as we listen to what the ConCourt decides and what their ruling is. So, what exactly are they ruling on? And if you're not too clued up with what happened with the Phala Phala saga, then I've got a refresher for you. So let's have a look. All right, so the background to the Phala Phala robbery is that in February 2020, a burglary occurred at President Ramaphosa's Phala Phala game farm in Limpopo. A significant amount of money was stolen. They estimating between $580,000 to $4 million, but the most reported on number is $580,000. Now, the money reportedly came from a private cache of game animals, buffaloes, etc. And there's a lot of question marks surrounding it. Don't worry, we'll get to it. The theft was not reported to regular police at the station. Instead, it was handled internally by the Presidential Protection Unit, involving figures like Major General Wally Rueda, and this included an off-the-books investigation. Now, why? Why? Why hide all of these things? It's because you are involved in criminal activity. That, of course, is why you're hiding it. Well, you don't want to report something to the SAPS to investigate after a crime happened against you or your property. Usually, the reason you don't do that is because you want to either hide something from the police or because you want to take matters into your own hands. One of the two. And in this case, both of those things happened. It's also important to note here that this included an off-books investigation tracing suspects, some in Namibia and Cape Town, and interrogations and alleged recovery efforts or payoffs. So the interrogations is illegal. The fact that you are paying people off and recovering those people or the money, that is all illegal. Now, the key allegations is the failure to declare the foreign currency properly, not reporting the crime officially, potentially violating anti-corruption laws, and possible misuse of state resources and involvement of foreign authorities, Namibia as an example. So Ramaphosa has denied wrongdoing, stating the money was legitimate. How? How? If SARS isn't aware of the $580,000 or even $4 million, how did it enter the country legally if SARS isn't aware of it or you didn't declare it? Anyway, the matter was reported internally for security reasons and he cooperated with investigations. Other probes, the public protector, SARB, on exchange controls largely cleared him or found no major violations, though critics dispute their thoroughness. And I have to agree. I mean, if you or me had to bring in between 580,000 to $4 million, what do you think SARS would do to us? What do you think would happen to us? But yet this internal investigation said there's no wrongdoing. So all that money in his couch, no funny business. It's just where this president likes to hide his money. Makes perfect sense. Anyway, moving along to the Section 89 independent panel, and this is what is in the Constitutional Court and what is being heard right now. Parliament appointed a three-member panel chaired by retired Chief Justice Sandile Nkobo under Section 89 of the Constitution to assess if there was prima facie evidence of serious misconduct or constitutional violations by the president that could warrant impeachment proceedings. The panel's November 22 report found sufficient evidence for Parliament to consider an impeachment inquiry, and the key points included possible serious violations of the Constitution, potential breach of the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, and concerns over handling the cash secretly using state resources. Yeah. The panel stressed it was not determining guilt, only that there was enough for further inquiry. Now, what do you think Parliament did? Remember, this was the sixth administration. This wasn't the current GNU. It's the sixth administration. They came to the following conclusion. In December 22, the National Assembly voted 214 to 148 to reject the panel's report blocking any impeachment inquiry. So they were protecting the president. Because the independent panel said, hey guys, there's more to look at here. And instead, of course, the parliament with a lot of ANC cadres went, no, you will not. Anyway, EFF and ATM, I have to give credit. The EFF and ATM decided to take this to the Constitutional Court, and the main arguments that were heard were Parliament's rejection was irrational and unconstitutional. It failed its duty under Section 89 to hold the executive accountable when prima facie evidence exists. The National Assembly's rules, Rule 192 as an example, is giving it broad discretion to ignore the panel, undermining the impeachment framework. And then lastly, they seek to set aside the vote, declare aspects of the rules invalid, and force Parliament to proceed with an inquiry. So that is what they want at the Constitutional Court tomorrow, and that is what I think everybody that wants law and order to be restored in this country, that is the verdict that people want to hear. So Parliament's position and the President's side is that the Assembly has political discretion. Courts should not interfere in legislative processes, separation of powers and all of that. The panel's findings were preliminary and based partly on untested evidence. Well, I'm sorry to say this, but if you break the law, then there is nothing there legislative. It's you are acting like a criminal and you should go to court and you should then explain your case there, and then a court can decide on whether or not you acted lawfully or illegally in that case. Now, what the case is and isn't about. Now, the core issue here is that it's a procedural constitutional matter. Did Parliament act lawfully in rejecting the report, or must it proceed to inquire when a panel finds prima facie evidence? It will clarify the weight of Section 89 panels and Parliament's discretion in impeachment matters. It's not directly deciding Ramaphosa's guilt or innocence on the underlying allegations, the theft cover-up, the currency violations, etc. That would be for a full inquiry or criminal process. So if he has taken to court or if he's charged. So this is not what is going to be discussed tomorrow. And then lastly, broader implications, accountability of the president, separation of powers, and precedent for future impeachment attempts. Lastly, it says the case has dragged on, one of the longest delays for the ConCourt, drawing political attention amid ongoing debates about the scandal. Other investigations, the IPID on police handling tax matters, continue in parallel but are separate. And that is in essence what is being said here. So it's important to note that tomorrow, or the 8th of May, if you're watching this after the fact, is in essence to decide whether Parliament should have taken Section 89 more seriously, and whether them voting to not take matters further, whether that was against the Constitution, and whether Parliament overplayed their hand. So what I think most South Africans are looking for tomorrow, or today, if you are watching this, or whenever you're watching this, is that the president can be held accountable, that Parliament, in voting this Section 89 away and not further investigating it, was an overreach by Parliament. So in essence, it's just wants to say that, if independent people through a Section 89 committee found that there were prima facie evidence that needed to be investigated, then it should be investigated. Not that Parliament should vote on whether or not it should be investigated. That is the ultimate question here. So hopefully tomorrow the Constitutional Court comes out with a finding that says that Parliament did overreach and that this matter should be further investigated. And if there is a case to be made by the public prosecutor or by whomever, that the matter should then continue to be a full-blown court case. And also then the important thing is whether the president can be impeached. That is also a very important aspect to take note of here. So hopefully the justice system continues on the 2026 path that they've been on, which is actually just applying the law and, just using common sense. We had a really great verdict with the Julius Malema case, and it's not because we hate Julius Malema. It's because everybody is equal before the law. And I think that that is what everybody wants. So whether you are the president or whether you are a person that's on the street, both of you, when you are in front of a judge, should get the same treatment. And I think that Parliament was used to protect Cyril Ramaphosa. Because can we also just be real? Imagine the police rocks up at your house for whatever reason. Let's say the neighbor complained about noise and you allow them in, and then they see $1 under your couch and they go, "What's this?" And when they lift it up, they discover between 580,000 of it or 4 million of it. Now, like, there's a bunch of questions there. Why is it in your couch? Why is it not in a bank? And why wasn't it exchanged? Why is it in dollars? Why is it not in rands? And did you pay tax on this? Did you follow the processes? And then also, why did you not declare this crime to the SAPS? Why did you rather get your own people to investigate this and hide this from the police? This smells like criminality. This smells like tax evasion. This smells like the president acting like a criminal. And I truly hope that when the Constitutional Court reads out their finding, that they just apply common sense. Because most people in this country can see exactly what happened there. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that there's a lot of dodgy things that the president needs to answer for. And now with the seventh administration that we are in with the GNU, the ANC can't just blindly protect him anymore with sheer numbers. And now it's time to face the music. So if you are watching this before 10 a.m. on the 8th of May, you can join my live stream. And if you're watching this after the fact, then you can just check what the news said. And hopefully what I've said here is factual, and that the Constitutional Court ruled in favor of taking this further, and that Parliament overreached, and that the president can be impeached, and that the Section 89 committee can take this further, and that criminal proceedings could potentially start if somebody would like to take it up. But that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button, share this video far and wide. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. And if you'd like to contribute financially to this channel, you can do it by two methods. You can either give a super thanks by clicking on the $ and choosing an amount, or you can become a member to this channel that comes with its own perks, and to see them, just click on the join button below. And for all of those, thank you, greatly appreciated. And that's all I got to say. Till later, cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.